The MCU is about to introduce the character that got me into all of this, and one of its most powerful, the Sentry. We'll talk about his abilities, comic interaction, strength, and where we think he's going to stand in the current MCU. The Sentry is the man with the power of a million exploding suns, which has to be a line in the movie. That would be a big miss without. But he's a hero who's both a god and a broken man, fighting a mental battle with agoraphobia and schizophrenia. Inside of him housing a Hulk of his own, the Void, an intertwined but distinct entity, a cosmic tier guy in and of himself, a threat to the greater universe if free to his own will. With Bob being one of the strongest beings on Earth, a hero of past forgotten, comes back and is given some of the toughest matchups in comics, from wiping the Avengers roster to ripping Ares in half or stalemating World War Hulk. With all that, it's fair to ask, how strong will they make him in a movie like Thunderbolts, presented as more grounded, explicitly in the trailer, with probably the best line.
So none of us can fly? So what, do we all just punch and shoot?
Even with all these characters being super soldiers or having skill to that level or scaling, it just would never be enough even in the worst movie, which I don't think it'll be, hopefully, considering Marvel brought the creator of the Sentry, Paul Jenkins, to work with the team, to give insight into the characters and have the opportunity to write the first Sentry script of any movie that would be. So I'm pretty confident the key powers will be there, with those powers ranging from something we've seen in the trailer like flight, or bulletproof obviously, or actual high-tier superhero strength, effortlessly overpowering Bucky. In the comics, he can absorb energy from almost anything or anyone and can use it in a bunch of different ways: projectile attacks, beams, healing, or calming down the Incredible Hulk, but with the spotlight being molecular manipulation, the key to the new MCU Sentry. Hopefully they bring it to the forefront. It could really define this new character, contrasting the current power sets in the MCU. With molecular manipulation being the ability to control matter at the most basic level, rearranging molecules to instantly change, destroy, or create physical substances, letting someone like the Sentry rewrite physical reality at his whim. Some of the things that he's done with this range from small, like turning his clothes into his suit, or forming a real, tangible, fully functional tiny werewolf in his hands, or one of his best showings with realizing this power in his fight with the Molecule Man, the character probably best known for this ability. When they fought, Sentry was caught off guard, trapped. The Molecule Man erased him molecule by molecule, but he fully rebuilt himself after, showing he can control matter down to atoms, and likely even smaller. With all the powers they could draw from in comics being practically limitless for how they want to interpret it on screen, he's an enigma and they just need to reach into that box. And right now, the MCU houses some huge powerhouses, from the Scarlet Witch, who destroyed every Darkhold in the multiverse, Thor overpowering the beam from the Infinity Gauntlet, Hulk we just don't have to talk about, Captain Marvel reigniting a star, and someone who has had to be nerfed in Endgame by the writers, Loki tanking the Time Loom, exploding and physically lifting and holding massive chunks of the multiverse in his hand, Doom pretty soon, who, I mean, let's be real, he's going to be doing everything. Now obviously that's top tier forms or showings, but this is a guy in comics fighting the King Hulk, World War Hulk, who's beating every hero left and right: Storm, Strange, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, ripping Carnage in half, or stalemating Blue Marvel, and more and more and more. We haven't seen the movie yet, so we can't fully say his scaling, but the way they're presenting him in these trailers, just straight up atomizing people. And remember, this is a movie with narrative. Tanking bullets like this probably means they're blowing up a star, but seriously, I don't see him in any world being weaker than a Prime Eternal like Icarus, or even Thanos, really. And for that fact, really anyone at that battle, except for like a Scarlet Witch, a high-end Thor, a Captain Marvel, I would want him to be right at that level. At least if they want to keep this character relevant and being able to fight new characters and having his own solo movie, like, if we could get something about a planet-busting statement or something close to that and light speed, I think I'd be really happy. And to wrap it up, something that they really need to hit hard on is he's not really a small g god, not like Thor. He's in the scaling sense, but not thematically. He's a strong man, like any man would be, with power, responsibility, and a broken human psyche. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, subscribe. Bye-bye.